It's not starting to get red, so something seems to be wrong with the OBS thing, but it says it's recording. Let me just double check that there is no problem with the recording. Yeah. Okay. It seems to work. I'm not sure. I hope that this is recorded. We will see. So welcome to Microservices winter term 2021. It's the last lecture today. So we will have to cover up some issues. There's still a lot of functionality to come. And there will be a really huge final assignment today for the things that I would like to see at the very end that you get your grades on. How to grade you. And so finally, what we are doing these days is we are deploying this to Heroku. And let me see whether I can actually do the picture-in-picture. Oh, it could go away, but I can't move it up. That's bad. Okay. So we were deploying stuff on Heroku, and last week we were able to actually deploy the server for the warehouse and the server for the shop to Heroku. And this week we are going to deploy the graphical user interfaces, so the React clients, such that those are going to run on Heroku and that we can have more of this dialogue actually running. Let me see how Heroku is doing these days. Actually, there is still some problems that we have seen last week already. Heroku, when you run some services there and no one is actually talking to these services, Heroku suspends the containers and puts them down to, in a sleep mode after all. So this is actually then indicated on the overview page of Heroku via these little sleeping, snoring things in these services. You need to actually when they are sleeping, there's a good chance that your services are not running any longer and that your tests are going to fail and that they are not able to connect to each other, and there is quite some problems here. Now let's try and check it. I have already deployed the web warehouse, so the graphical user interface for the warehouse, and let's open this. And then we will deploy today together the shop front end, the shop GUI, and then you should be able to do this yourself. So it took quite a time to come up with this initial dialogue. It's about 10 seconds that you need for that. And if you go back to the Heroku forum, the overview page, come on. They say it's still sleeping, but this is actually an update problem. It was in the cache. So if I refresh the page, so my web warehouse is now running. And actually, I was thinking that the server should be running too, because the web warehouse is connecting to the server, but it's actually not doing that until I actually say I would like to log in. If I click on the OK page, then the user interface is asking the backend, the warehouse backend, the warehouse server, could you please tell me if this guy is already known? So load all users is the thing that we are doing there. And this takes quite, again, some time after all. And, then this dialog says, oh yeah, I know Bob. And here the password view came up. So let's just dig in here. And then we are in this overview. And if I reload this page, we will see that now all the services are up. So the web, the user interface for the warehouse, we're connecting to the server for the warehouse and asking the server for, or could you tell me the list of users that you already know about? And therefore, this container was started or reinitialized or run again or woke up from sleep mode. And when it wakes up, it actually again runs the startup sequence. So it was sending a request to the shop server for I'm online, and this was waking up the shop server. So now they are all again online. The problem here is you need good timeouts. So it takes about 10 seconds to start the server again. You should have a timeout of at least 1 minute or something like that to ensure that this is not going to fail for bad reasons. Okay, cool. That is now working fine, and we can actually do things here, and we could have a new palette. So I have actually 2 palettes in here now, the Euro 333 palette and the Euro 334 palette, and on the 4 is a Raspberry Pi. The problem with the P42 shoes is that some of my tests is actually all the time saying that one is removed. So let's go back to main products. Products. There are no products. Orders. Yeah, you can have orders. Main. There are things that are not yet perfectly working. Main. And then there is products. Here they are. That's strange. But please know, the line above here, the URL is Albert Web Warehouse Heroku app.com main products. Actually, you might try at home to log into this. And well, please do not destroy my database, but add some product or do something about it. And I'll do the same thing, and then we can see whether it's actually multi-user ready. I'm not sure about it. So I will use the P42 shoes and add the cool shoe thing here, and add something that's not there. Okay, it's shown here. And perhaps if you can actually reach Albert Web Warehouse Heroku app.com, could you raise your hand so that I can see that? Anybody? Yeah, some of you can. Oh, that's cool. And probably, I'm not sure why main is not working correctly. It's perhaps timing problems or something like that. So finally it did work. Okay. And I should be able to see some of you guys. Hey, ipsum lorem. Hey, cool. That has been added by, I think, Michael. Cool. So, it's online. We are in the world, in the cloud, out there. Everybody can reach us. Isn't this cool? Great stuff. And it's actually the thing that we have done already that we need to achieve to get this, well, working. So, what is to be done? Let's kill all those, close them all. Is this big enough? I hope so. And I probably should move my picture-in-picture up such that you guys see what is going on in the terminal. Let's close all these things. So the server shop and the server warehouse has been uploaded to Heroku already last week. I did this in preparation for today for the web warehouse, and let's now together do the same things for the web shop. And so I need a terminal, and I would like to be in the web shop. Come on. Yeah. Can you read that? Okay. It's big enough? Can everybody see it? Cool. So, quite a line. Okay, as you recall, so what we finally have to do is create a Heroku account already done last week. Then we would like to do something like Heroku create blah 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 blah. And then the name of the service that we want to create. And before we do that, we should have a local Git repository for this guy here. And I don't think that I have this one yet. So I do a Git init. Is this cool? Git init. Yeah, I like that one. Then we have a Git repository. If I do a Git status, I see there's a lot of things that are going to be committed, and for some reason, it's VS Code. Package lock is no good idea. Package JSON. So we should add the package lock to the git ignore. And for some reason, there is a git ignore already. Yeah. So git status. You may copy the git ignore from somewhere. I'm not sure why I have a git ignore here. I have no idea where it comes from. Probably in preparation yesterday. It looks fine for me. Something that I noticed when you upload things to Heroku, Heroku is going to use npm to install your thing. We were using Yarn through the last weeks of our lecture for some reasons, because the React stuff didn't really work. It was initially installed with Yarn, and then npm did interfere with the Yarn thing, and there was a little bit of a problem. So to switch to Heroku, you should get rid of Yarn by killing the Yarn log thing. There are some Yarn log files that you should get rid of. And then you do an npm install, and then npm is going to download all these node modules again, which will take quite a time. But after some minutes, then you can actually use npm. So and then this deployment to Heroku is going to work. So now again, let's have a git dot add dot. That one is going to add all the files. Then we do a git git commit -m, which is something like initial or something like that. So we are pretty fine. Actually, we need to create this thing. And if I go to my package JSON, I have a bunch of things. I have duplicated the start thing in the scripts of the package JSON, and the copy has now the name dev, because the start thing needs to be changed to something like, we will see soon. It's serve -s build, another script that has to be entered here. So we will use dev for now. And you could do an npm run dev in order just to test manually the new functionality. I have prepared this functionality yesterday and over the weekend, and in preparation of this lecture, and I try to show it to you and hope it's working. You still have to do that. So we did not yet cover this in this lecture. However, it's pretty straightforward, and it works pretty much the same way as the warehouse front end works. So you just go for the warehouse front end and copy a lot of stuff from there into your shop front end, and then you go along. I have started with shopping, top level thing, which has 2 buttons. You can go for offers, and that one should actually load a lot of offers, but does not. and I'm very unhappy. So why? Oh yeah, because the server is not running. Damn it. Yeah, that's true. So another terminal for the server for the shop. And then we do an npm. I did this removing of the yarn thing for the server shop too. So I can have an npm run. It should be a do a start, something like should do the job. So I start the server shop. Okay. And that's working on, on localhost 34570. And let's enlarge this one more. And my local running server for the shop is connecting to the remote running, Heroku running, no, subscribed ad? I do not know. There is something wrong with this message. Hopefully. I have no idea. Let's see. Reload that one. Here they are. So now my shop frontend is able to talk to the backend that is locally running on my laptop. And there is two offers that are stemming from, well, things that we will have a look at it. One was actually created the snowshoes via a test that I was running on the local server. And that one is for P40 shoes. And then there is, they cost $42 or euros or whatever. I go for buy them. And then I get here the offer I'm going to purchase. And it says you are going to buy snowshoes for, and I do not have the price yet. And that's the problem, that my data model is not sufficiently, well, it does not contain all the things. It has palettes, but it did not load the products. That's a bug. We need to fix this soon. And so I give an address, which is my name, and where to deliver this, and I say okay. And then I get a new page, which is shop orders, which says your order is customer order 2021-02-15. This is the current date, and you have ordered shoes for $42. Okay. We can go back to the shop. We can go back to the shop. No, we cannot go back to the shop. We can go back to the shop. We can go back to orders. No, there's some things that are not yet really working. I did not experience that yesterday. Let's see. Okay, so how did I do that? This is a web shop thing. I have a source thing. And well, you have app TSX. This is the top level thing that actually renders something. There is all this routing done. I have actually 3 pages or 4, I'm not sure. There's this shop page, but it's going these 2 buttons. You would like to see the offers or would like to see your orders. Then there is the orders thing with shop orders. That is where you come up, if you click on the orders button, and that should show you all the orders that are pending. Actually, it should show you only your orders. I did not, because there are hundreds of customers, and Albert should not see what Sebastian has ordered, but come on, who cares? I'll let that out. And then there is shop buy thing, which I gave the name buy. This is the page where you enter your name and address, delivery address. And there's this offers page where you can actually get the offers done. Okay, let's have a look at the offers page. This is again this render thing here. There's this button that should bring you back to the shop. There is a title, and then there's this list thing, which you might recall from the warehouse front end, where I asked the model my properties. There's a models editor, and that one has an offers editor. I have actually now organized my model the same way I did in the backends, because this is pretty handy. And then there's a lot of offers. This is a map. Then you ask for the values. That gives you something like an iterable. Then you turn that into an array, and then you call map on that, which is a function that gets an argument, a lambda expression that is to be applied to each element of the array. And this lambda function just creates such a div with the offer name as a key. This is something that helps React to find the list, and then all the data that you would like to show. And the important point here is you want to have a buy button on each line, on each of the offers. You have a button that allows you to buy something. And why? Yeah, here they are. So this buy button here, and the buy button needs a parameter. It needs to know which product because there are two buttons or multiple buttons for each offer that is online, and you need to tell the action that is behind here. This is where's the action? The buy action. You need to tell it where to actually do that. So which thing you would like to buy. And so usually the on-click operation here is just this buy action. There you would actually, pass an operation, a function as a parameter. But then you cannot actually pass parameters for that function. And if you would like to pass parameters for the function, you do a lambda here. So this here is going to be executed and result in a new function that has this line of code in its body. Come on. It has this thing in its body, and there the parameter is already parsed. And so if I really click on it, I can access the offer name. It's a little bit tricky. You Google that. It's not too hard. Okay, and the button has this name. If I actually click on buy, come on. If I actually click on buy, so far I just store the name of the offer in my model under current offer, and then I do a routing and tell the system go to the shop buy page. There's some more stuff that you need to have a look at, and actually I will now go for and build it, show it to you bottom up. You will have something like offers. This is the data type. You can actually copy that one from anywhere. I have palettes, which is actually copied from the backend, from the shop server backend. Well, actually, the DATO has a position in it, as we have it on the warehouse side. But actually, my web frontend is not interested in the position. We don't care. And just as an example, that our design allows you to have a different data model in each of your applications of these four. I have omitted the position in my palette type for the front end. I could have done it for the for the shop server too, but I only did it for the shop front end, for the web shop. Just to give an example, it's possible you can slightly deviate from it. However, you shall never deviate from the data transfer object, because the data transfer object is going to be passed backward and forward between the different services, and so they shall agree on how this one has been created, and so you do not fumble with the data transfer object. However, the real object where you actually are going to compute on later on, that might be adapted to your needs. Okay, then we have, of course, an editor that is also copied one-to-one from the other services. And the editor, and you probably will want to copy this one from the web warehouse thing. From the web warehouse, not from the back end, because it has something like a load pallets from server thing, where you could actually tell where to get this thing. And load pallets from server. Let's have a look at that. So actually, what does the palette editor have? It has the model editor. Let's have a look at the model editor first. The model editor is the entry to the database or to all our data. And in contrast to the web warehouse, I have now cleanly designed this to have no data itself or very limited data, but have editors for all the events, for all the data transfer objects that come in. And so I have an editor for offers, for pallets, for products and customers, and I have attributes for those, and I do initialization in the constructor, and that's all. I also have the current offer name, which I use to pass data between two different pages, and I have this shop server URL as a constant, and this is still localhost 34570. So I'm currently talking to the local server. And when we are going to deploy this to Heroku, we could actually change this. And I'm actually going to change this now. And actually I do this by copying this. And then give it a new value. And the new value I would like to give it is this one, the Albert Shop server. And if I open that one, I can actually copy this just from the URL of my browser, and I put it in here. Come on. Yeah, and I think that the slash at the end is not a good idea because it would be double. Don't have it. So now this one is going to talk to the shop server in the cloud on Heroku, no longer to my local host thing. And I'm actually allowed to close the server on my local host. So this is the server, isn't it? Yeah, server shop. So I can close that one. I'm no longer needing it. Okay, get rid of that one. And let's try whether this still works. So it's now, that is the web warehouse. No, this is the localhost 3000 shop offers. That is the local thing. I restart that one, and I get different offers. I get now the offers which are already known at the Heroku service. Great, cool. And I can actually still buy this one. And it's 04, it's still shoes, I think. I still buy it for Albert, and that should do the job. Okay. You believe me? I hope that this thing here is now talking to Heroku and no longer to my laptop. Because yeah, actually I was killing the job on my laptop here, so you have to believe it. Cool. So this is one thing that you would like to do. For the backends, we did this thing using this process env and then some URL or some environment variable thing, and then if this is not defined, use a local thing. I tried the same trick for the graphical user interface for the front ends, for the React front ends, and that did not work because later on we are going to translate model editor. Where is this? We were going to run the build script. And if we do that, well, let's do that. Control, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So this is still the React service running locally. I stopped that one. If I do an npm run build, which is the first thing that is Heroku going to do when we upload this thing, that takes some time, creating an optimized production build. So while we were running this in development mode, there was actually a special Node.js service running locally on my laptop, serving the HTML pages to the browser, and in addition, listening to my source code. And whenever I was changing my source code, my front end page was reloaded, was updated. And so that I got a very fast development cycle. If you run your system on production, you do not want that because, well, there's no one changing your source code on production side. And it's a little bit slower and more resource demanding than if you do a production code optimized thing. So what has happened now is by running this npm run build script, it has translated all the thing, has created a build something, I have no idea where this is here. And there is all the code in there with the JavaScript code embedded in the HTML code. So you do not need a sophisticated runtime anymore, but only a simple web server who delivers static content. Because the JavaScript code that has been compiled from your application is going to be executed in the browser. So your server that serves the HTML code, the things to the browser, can be pretty simple. And actually it tells you, you could use serve-s build in order to run the production build. Oh, that's a cool thing. So let's do that. So we go for the start thing here and replace this with serve-s build. Let's have a look whether this really works. Oh, we should actually store this. And npm run start does a serve-s build now. Then comes a different kind of message. And he says, oh yeah, I'm running on localhost 5000, just a different port. And if I go for localhost 5000, here it is. And that is now the optimized version, which is much faster and better, and the one that is going to be deployed in Heroku. Cool. Pretty much cool. There was this one thing. We were talking about environment variables, and it was in the models editor after all. Because this is statically compiled content, actually this code is going to be executed in the browser only, and the browser has no access to the environment variables. This is only accessible for the server side on Heroku within the cloud. And Sebastian is taking a breath and says, oh yeah, you could do it, or... So, well, actually there are some other tricks where you at compile time actually copy environment variable some things to do this switch for content, and for now we just do it this simple way. Just hard code it and we are done. And Google how to do this in a better way. Okay, there's still a problem here. We have still localhost 5000 as the port. So it uses the default port 5000 here. That's no good. We need to change that. Ah, come on. So I stop it and load that one. And I have no idea where this is actually done. It's probably in no, I have to look it up. So I did it yesterday, and I go for the source code of the web warehouse now, and there we go for probably index TSX. No, because we need to path the port. Where's the port? Give me the port. I need help. I think it should be here somewhere. So I think it works miraculously, but I'm not sure where I did that. Switching off the port. Might be in here, but I'm not sure. So start serve minus s build. Does Heroku deal with this automatically? Yeah, but actually this is the serve thing here. Yeah. And that serve thing is listening to the environment variable port. Yeah, I did Google that, I recall. So that serve thing that we are used to run is actually internally reading the environment variable port, which is the one which is passed by Heroku, and thereby it works. Great. And the default is 5000. Yeah. So nothing we need to do about that here. Okay, cool. Should do the job. Let's have a little more look into what's all in this user interface that you have seen. There's a lot of things that you need to do. So you need this model editor with all these editors. For each type of your model, so for products, for palettes, and for offers, you always also need an editor that does this load products from servicing. So you're in the browser front end and you would like to contact your back end in order to get all the data. And this is done by sending a query, and you send the query to some server URL, either localhost for testing and development purposes, or to your Heroku address when you are finally deploying this. And then you add API query to that URL in order to send a query, and later on someplace I do an API submit if I do want to send some event to the service, to the backend. Okay? And the rest is pretty much the same code we have had in the web warehouse, but there I had it still in one model editor, all this stuff. That's a bad idea. Have it in separate editors, one for each event type you're dealing with. Do not forget to do this bind stuff in your constructor, otherwise you won't not be able to call this, and so on. Then you have this have product thing, remove product, get or create product, the things that you usually have. And the same things for palettes. Load palette, thing with just another query, get all palettes, have palette, remove palette, get or create, all these kinds of things. And then there's this offers editor, again the same structure. This is quite some copy-paste thing, but most of it can be actually grabbed from the web warehouse, and it's not too hard to get there. Okay, you need query, you can actually copy that. You need event, you can copy that. You have an app state. I don't use that anymore. I could actually remove it, but I don't dare to. I think it's no longer necessary because I have replaced the app state with the model editor. So my main state is now the model editor, who has the offers editor. And the offers editor, did I show that has actually this map here with all the offers? And a reference to the model editor, because the offers editor wants to call somewhere the in here the palettes editor, because the offer refers to a palette, and the palette refers to some product that is offered. And the offer actually adds a price to that palette. Oh my God. So more pages. The offers page. I probably saw that already. The important thing is that this component did mount thing. So all these pages have a constructor. That one is actually no longer necessary here. They have a render function that actually creates the page. This is the link to the shop, and this is the list of all the offers. I do loop through the model offers editor, and actually we need to go for app tsx to get the start of it. Set state, this dot state in the top level app, where we actually do the routing. We create the top level state, and the state is just of type model editor, and we do not use the app state anymore. And thereby actually did the old thing is now split into multiple pages and object types. Okay. Okay, so the model is actually passed as the state, and I actually call it model directly. And so if I go for offers, I can ask in my props for the model thing, which is the model editor, ask for the offers editor, and ask for all the offers that one has, and then for the values that one has. Okay, and then I can actually create for each of these entries a representation of this as we are used to it. And sometimes there's a problem that you have a palette, but the palette has no product, or you have an offer, but the palette is not actually yet loaded. And so if you go for the palette, the product is not there, or you won't find the name in the product yet, and therefore have variants of representations to show, well, the best possible thing to you. And if I don't find anything, I do a product, just a string. Okay, so before I'm able to show this page, I actually try to get all the data from my server. So I asked the server to load products. Well, actually, I asked the products editor, please load all the products that the server knows. Then I asked the palettes editor to load all the palettes. And then I asked the offer to load all the offers. And the reason for that is that, well, an offer refers to a palette, and the palette refers to a product, and I would actually like to show the name of the product I'm selling to my customers. And so I need all these objects to be probably loaded and initialized and loaded from the server in order to work fine. This is in the component did mount thing here. Is this okay that this one is an async one? I'm not sure. That might be a problem. I might have to wait for this. I have no idea. Hopefully they do. Yeah. Okay. And then you get up-to-date data, hopefully. So, did I miss something? So what I did not yet implement is actually to send data to the server. This would be the buy action, where you would actually send something to your server. And that shall be customer data. Did I show you customer? Customer orders. So when Alice or Albert or Sebastian or somebody actually buy something in our shop, you would like to create an order. But the type order has already been used at warehouse side to order new supply. And in order to not mix those two up, I use the wording customer order to refer to things that customers orders from us in comparison to order or supplier order would be a better term for things that we order by from our suppliers. You need not to mix those two up. They're a predefined term that you should use here, but I'm not sure which these terms are, not even in German and not at all for the English phrases, so I have no idea. And I use customer order here, and I ask you to do something like that too, because then it's easy to not mix this up. Again, you need, of course, an editor for this with all these kinds of things, and we probably would need a have event something method here that takes the data and sends it to the server with a submit, but you know how to do that, or you will find it in the warehouse lectures and these kinds of stuff. Okay, I think we are ready to go. We have actually changed the package JSON thing here. Package JSON thing. Where are the scripts? So np Heroku, if we upload this, is going to run the build thing. And then it is going to call the serve thing, the start thing, and that has been adapted. So there's nothing wrong. It could work. Damn it. Let's give it a try. So what we do now is Heroku. Come on. Heroku. Create. And we would like to, well, have a certain name. And the name should be Albert Web Shop. Albert Web Shop. So we did all this Git initialization thing, so that should actually have worked already. Let's have a Git status again. And it said there are modifications. So let's do a Git add dot. And actually you can have a semicolon and git commit minus m prepare something. Then it does all these things in once. And actually it still tells you that you are on the master branch. That's bad. And actually I did find out how to switch that. Git branch main git checkout main. Yeah, so we have now switched to branch main that is easier for upload, so the master is no longer used. And then we can actually git status, it's all fine. So we can do a git push to remote Heroku main branch. And keep your fingers crossed and all these kinds of things. So this needs a lot of time now. It's installing binaries. Actually, the first time it takes a little bit longer because it's after that it's caching something, and for some reasons that works faster then. Installing dependencies is now this npm initialize things init thing, and that's on the very first one, takes a very long time. Okay. So while we wait for that, come on. So actually it's a little bit easier or simpler to do this thing. Hey, here it is already. Albert Web Shop. And it still say it's built in progress. And you can actually have this thing, oh, it's unzipping Cypress. Oh my God, so why did I do that? Yeah, okay. Actually, we would not need the Cypress stuff at the server side. I should have deployed it to dev and then, yeah, and should not have it in, I have no idea. Creating an optimized production build. So this is just the same log that you could see in here, creating an optimized production build. Just via the Heroku site or via your Heroku command. They both work. Or the git command. I really hope you do not need to do this a dozen times. I would wonder whether when it would work at the very first time, but let's see. So it says serve -s build. It's no caching build, so it's packing up things, pruning dev dependencies, this is all going to be faster the next time we run that. Build succeeded. It's compressing things. I have no idea why. It's launching. And it says, yeah, you can go there. Albert Webshop Heroku.com. Still loading. So why does it take so long? It's not yet readily deployed. Application error. Yeah, not too bad. I was expecting that. Logs -- tail. Serve not found. Damn it. So it did work locally, but not here. Damn it. Okay. So what we need to do is an npm install serve -- safe or something like that. So we didn't include it in our dependencies, and we need to do that. And why did I have it locally? I have no idea. Probably installed it globally. Okay, so it should be git add, git commit, git push Heroku main. Should we just try an Heroku open? Come on, let's do it this way. So hopefully this is a little bit faster. If it takes this time again that long, we need to do something in between. Installing node modules. Albert Shop server. Yesterday, no, damn, Albert web shop. Build in progress. It's doing better now. Pruning dependencies. Done. Launching. Still not working. Yeah, here we are. You should be able to read that one too now. Go for albert-web-shop.heroku.com.shop and then you can actually go and do some buying. And I see Michael working on it. And finally there should be some, yeah, let's have, I'll buy that one for me. It's here. And probably if I go here, it's still here. And then finally at some time it should show up the second one. Michael, still give me a thumbs up when you have done it. No? Oh, you probably, yeah, I have no idea. There should be more than this one, but who cares? Let's have another offer. Let's have another buy for Mike Castle. So now I have two. I have no idea why it is not working for Michael, or I can't see Michael's thing. Okay, finally. So we did it. We are running the server for the warehouse, the server for the shop, the web warehouse. I didn't show you that, did I? Yeah, we were looking at that one. Did we? And so why does it take so much time in order to serve this page? Because it's pretty big after all. I think so. I have no idea. Where it's sleeping again? Who knows? Here it is. So let's go in there. We could add a new palette after all. And drop table students. Yeah, I'm prepared for that by now. So no, did not work. Um, cool. Yeah, seems to work. So you at least seem to be able to get that one running. Cool. And I have no idea why this is not showing more of those. Oh, it's now, it has restarted somehow. Who cares? It always almost works. There's one thing I still have to tell you to make it working. I have a Cypress test for my shop, web shop. I have a Cypress test in integration, customer order special. And actually this Cypress test tests for the version that runs on localhost 3000. But you can easily change that. You can actually say or go for hybrid web shop. Yeehaw. And open that one. So I tell the Cypress test running locally on my laptop to open the cloud version of the web service. And that should do work. And I have no idea how I actually start that. So this is the, come on. npm run, no, it's npx Cypress open. I'm not sure how we were starting a Cypress for the warehouse, but that one should do the job. And that's pretty cool stuff. You actually can use Cypress also to, well, auto type on the server version. Perhaps a problem if you are doing this with a production service and then you, for test purposes, buy some shoes and pay $42, and then after running the test 100 times, you get 100 pairs of shoes delivered to you. And some guys are mad at you, the management, but it might happen. Is this working? Yeah, there's my Cypress folder, and it's somewhere out of view. Damn it. How do I get grip on it? Here it is. Just start again. If it's not working, then I skip that one. Damn it. Yeah, there it is. It's the one I want. Damn it. Any idea how to get grip on that window? Who knows about Windows? Come on. Yeah, try that one, didn't work. Yeah, give it a try. Yeah, we will finally manage. Come on. Go over, hover over it. Go here, right click. Say maximize. You're fine. There it is. There's something special about this Cypress test I need to tell you in order that you not run into that, and therefore I take this time. And it tells I'm talking to the server version, so it's Albert Web Shop Heroku.com, and then one starts and the shop offer and these kinds of things. So, and there's some error here, so I get buy buttons, no shoes. I have no idea why. There's some things missing in my data on the server version that should be there. I have no idea why. Okay, in general, it's possible to run such tests. And I'm sorry for this failure. It should have worked perfectly. If I close this again, the thing I need to show to you is when I tried the same thing with the warehouse. Come on. Things are going down the hill. I do not want to go for source code control. Go away. I want to go for that one. I go for the web warehouse, and there for Cypress and for integration, and it's perhaps in here. Yeah. You see, I have commented out some code here, and actually in here up to. When you recall, if you recall, we were actually running our thing and entering email and Bob and OK, and I wanted to be sure that Bob is now in the list of our users in our React application, and therefore I did something which is called get React. And this one is not longer working in the build version. So that one works only if there is a React service running. And when you build, you compile it into a packed version, and that one has no thing that talks to get React, and you won't be able to get runtime data that is in your browser. You can just not access this. And so I need to get rid of this comment. I should have replaced this by, well, I should be able to ask the backend, the warehouse server for this information. Do you know about Bob now that you did not know about before? But I didn't have time to do that. So if you run into this problem with the get React thing, when trying to test the version that is running on Heroku, then you should be informed that you cannot do this on a build version of the React stuff. Okay, that's pretty much the thing. No, I'm not going to that one. So, we are ready for the final assignment. So I ask you to build the warehouse front end, so shop front end, the warehouse back end, the shop back end, and deploy all 4 of these things to Heroku under your personal name, so that I can have access from my home to your services and can try and test those services. I would like to Cypress tests that target on Heroku, so that you can show me when you have deployed it that the Cypress things are still working, so that we can actually run a demo. via Cypress that is running on Heroku. That's important. And I would like to see that you're able to have a new supplier on your warehouse site, that you can add a product on warehouse site, that you can have an order for new supply on the warehouse site, that you can have a pallet at the warehouse site, that you can have an offer on the shop site, that you can have a customer order on the shop site, that this customer order is going from the web shop to the server of the shop, and that the server of the shop is telling the warehouse server that there is some customer order to be delivered, which is called by picking here. And I want at the warehouse front end a view, a new button, show me all customer orders that are waiting for delivery. And then you are done. You do not need to do delivery too, that's fine. I just want to see that this workflow is working this far, then it's good. Is this clear to anybody? Any questions to that? Michael is going. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. Albert Web Warehouse is the front end, and I open that one. I have to log in. I'll do it as Albert now. I'm not sure whether I actually need to do. There I have a new dialog or new page handling pallets, and there you could do an ad, and then you are asked for the barcode of the pallet, which could be Europallet 335 or something like that. Then you are asked for the barcode of some product that is on that pallet. And that should be a product that is already in your store. You should have actually a supply order for that, but I don't care. I just said, okay, there is a pallet that has been delivered to my warehouse and there is shoes on it, or something like that. So it's, let's have FFP2 masks. And then you say how many of these items are on that pallet, let's say 100, and you go for where is the position of it. So it could be shelf A2 or something like that. Or it's still on delivery or something. And you book this. This actually gives you one line, so there's now a pallet at your warehouse. From your front end, you send this to the back end. In the back end, the warehouse back end, the shop has subscribed for new products and for new pallets. So the pallet is jumping from, I have a slide for this. Here. So I was working here in the warehouse client, adding a new pallet for FFP2 masks. This was sent to the warehouse service. The shop has subscribed for pallets. So we didn't do that last week. I added this later. I will show you. So the warehouse is sending the new pallet over to the shop. And then actually I have done something. I'm glad you asked. I either need now a user dialog where I could say, okay, there's a new pallet. I would like to add a price to these things and make it an offer. So creating an offer. I have no editor for that yet or didn't show it to you. You should have it. And so there are more pages that you need on your web shop site. And that one needs or should have some protection so that the customer cannot itself add offers, but only allowed employees or enabled authorized employees. However, because I wanted to skip this, I actually have done a Saga for that. And let me show this to you. So this is in the server shop, and there in the business model, and there is the pallet event handler, and that one says if there is a pallet that comes in with the state created, I turn that into, so why do I do that at shop server side? That's probably bad. This is only at the warehouse server side. I probably should actually get rid of this one here. So ever I get a event of a pallet that is registered, I look whether I already have a pallet for an offer for that. And if there is no offer event, and I use a naming convention, that the offer has an ID, which is offer 04 dot, and then the ID of the pallet. Just a simple convention. And so I look for, did I already create an offer for this pallet? And if I do not have an offer, or the date of that offer is before the date of the pallet, then I said, okay, I need a new offer. And then I do create an offer DTO and said, okay, for this pallet, I make an offer with the offer ID, and the price is $42 or euros. And I pack this into an event and submit it to myself. This.submit handler handle event. So whenever a new pallet comes in, this piece of code auto creates an offer and adds a price of 42 euros to that thing, and we are done. And you should probably have an edit dialog that allows you to click on some offer and change it. Or create a new offer for some pallet that's already there. And you need to add this. I didn't show it to you. For your assignment, I think it would be okay if you also have this automatically created offers, as I've just shown to you. Having this dialog, you do not learn a lot of that. And so having just the dialog for customer orders would be sufficient to pass the exam. That would be fine too. But you can also have this additional offer. Is there a question answered, Michael? Okay. Okay, and so for the picking thing, you actually set this customer order over to the warehouse. So we have it. So here I added a new pallet. I have already added product. Product and pallet are sent to the shop service. I open the client at the shop site. The shop service automatically creates an offer. I open the shop, go for the offers, and I see the new offer. And so I do an order. The order is sent to the backend, to the shop service. And so what we need now to establish is that the warehouse service subscribes itself at the shop service as listener for new customer orders. And then the shop service is going to send the new customer order to the warehouse service. And then there should be a new dialog within the warehouse web client where all the customers' orders are just listed. That would be fine. and the button behind them for pick them or do deliver, and that's it. So yeah, this is somewhat vague. I didn't show you all the details, but actually if you go think through it, you might want to, well, draw some of these little notes to get an idea how is this actually working, and then you will actually finally have an idea how it is and how to implement that. And all the stuff that you really need for this is pretty similar to the stuff that we have done already, so you should actually be able to succeed in doing this. And I actually have this assignment a little bit vague or not very detailed in order to give you the chance to develop the dialogues yourself. So it's part of the exercise. So far, every single thing of the design and the dialogue and how it is and the process has been part of the lectures, and you just were recoding the things that we were presenting to you. And so for this final exercise, I ask you to develop or to go on with the process and the design of the user interface and all this stuff yourself. I'm not going into full details of everything here. It's part of your assignment. Okay, because this is a bigger job, I give you 2 weeks for that. So we will be here this Thursday for those guys who are really fast. Next Monday there will be no lecture because today is the very last lecture, but we will be there on Monday at a certain time. I have no idea. So Max, when are we going to be there? Probably 12 o'clock? Yeah, probably at 12 o'clock. And then you can show your final project results. And we will be there next week on Thursday. But you should be, ready, should be done on next week's Thursday. That would be great. Okay? Let me put that on the slide. Yeah. Show on next Thursday or next Tuesday or the Thursday thereafter next week. It's Monday, yeah. Donnerstag in 8 Tagen. So, that would be the due date. Okay, if some of you need more time, we can negotiate on that, and you just get we take off some of your grade. So if you're later than that, you get you don't get an A but a B or a C or something like that. We will find that. Okay, I hope you managed to do that. I'm really interested in that. So far from what I have seen, you're doing very well with the exercises. I'm pretty proud of you guys. I have seen pretty nice results. So if anybody has time to do some more CSS styling things or more color stuff, that would be great either, and it would make me very happy. But it's not officially part of the exercise. So what did we do in this whole lecture? I have shown how to build single-page web applications with React, and we are still discussing internally whether React was a good choice or we should have stick to Angular. Angular is a more major framework, but it's harder to learn. We are not sure about that. Perhaps we will try Vue.js next year, just to have a third way and to keep things interesting. We did the server with Simply Express, while Sebastian was always voting for let's have Nest for it, which is again a more mature framework but harder to learn. And we were using event sourcing to do this thing here. Event sourcing stems from the domain-driven design area von events. I have shown you the books, which is a pretty new way to do this. It's pretty different than the standard way. Usually you would have a REST API for your servers, and we do only have these two posts API requests that you can do, submit a query, which is pretty uncommon, and you should probably know the other way too. Then we have these model editors with this have thing, which is taking care of all the instances and delivers you something, and with this get or create thing. This is pretty uncommon. That is a very special way to do this. It comes with this event sourcing idea of domain-driven design, and that gives you a lot of flexibility, but you won't see it in a standard implementation of a web server anywhere else. So it's something that is really specific to microservices, and it's a quite new kind of architecture and design that we have used in this thing here. And I love it because I think it's pretty stable and pretty agile and pretty easy to use. Although, well, yeah, you have these editors, there is a little bit of overhead, and on the long run, I think we need more convenient ways to do these model editors and have a code generator for them and have more support for you in even to facilitate this even more. So we do only HTTP communication. We do not use Kafka or some event or messaging bus in our application, which is also very common these days. Also for microservices, it's very common. The way we did it is more like Netflix does it, and having an event store local to each application. But it's you usually have one common event store for all the microservices. You can have both. There is something that you might, I'm not sure about. And there's again things that you should have seen. So what we did not yet really cover is continuous integration. That you run tests when you push something to GitHub. Staging, that is that before you actually deploy something on Heroku or in production, there should be a test server who does continuous staging or testing actually. Then you need actually to automate your deployment, the staging thing. So these Heroku create or Heroku updates thing should be even more autonomic than it is today. You should have some kind of runtime monitoring. That is part of our DevOps thing, and we did not really dig into authentication. So I have this login and password thing, but I never use it anymore. And I ask you to actually Google for how to do that. We should have a look at a NoSQL database and microservice patterns like CQRS. So we currently only have in a persistent database these events, but not the real data. And that is okay as long as you are able to hold the real data in your main memory. This is okay if you do the partitioning fine, but however, if your application grows really large, you might want to have your objects, your business objects, also in a database and to get them from there. And then you need some more stuff, and you might need a microservice pattern like CQRS that we did not cover in this lecture. to summarize, actually, we did not really do this scaling thing. Very at the beginning of this lecture, I was showing this scaling cube stemming from Chris Richardson's Microservices pattern book, where he says, okay, a good reason for going to microservices is you want to answer for scaling. And there's if your business is big like Google or Amazon or whoever, and you have millions of requests per second, then at a certain point in time, you will be no longer able to serve all these requests with a single computer. No way. And then you actually go for multiple computers and for multiple backend services. And then you start x-axis scaling. You just say, okay, here are multiple, it's a whole cloud of computers who are all running the same service. And then you have a problem that all these same services are running on the same database. They share the single event store. That might become a bottleneck either. And if your event store becomes too big to be handled on a single computer, you split it up and then you go for partitioning. Then you say certain data is on the database 1 and certain events are on database 2. You could actually say, okay, all product events are on that one, or all warehouse events are on that one, all shop events are on the other one, which is actually our architecture. And then you can split it up even more. You can say all the events for customers from Germany are handled on that server, all the events handled for customers from Douala are on another server, because those are not interfering with each other. And this one is called partitioning. And then there is this y-axis scaling where you actually do a functional decomposition, where you say actually, okay, my source code is again that big. I have so much functionality in this. I would like to split that up. And this is what we did by splitting the warehouse and the shop in two services. So we do not have one server for all the functionality, but two different servers. One for dealing with customers that do the shopping and one for the warehouse. And that is actually the microservices idea. So we did a lot of things to prepare for scaling, but I do not dare to really test this. So if you would ask me, Albert, could you come up with a web server for COVID vaccination appointments? So we have this in Germany these days, and many of these servers where you can actually an appointment to get your vaccination for COVID, they break down on the very first hours when too many customers were trying to reach that server at the same time. And this is a problem that you frequently have if you are not experienced in these scaling aspects. So in principle, I followed the design pattern of Richardson, and there is some hope that my application is scaling, but for sure, the very first time 100,000 users per minute are hitting my website, it will crash. I'm so sure. So Sebastian, what is your bet? Yeah, it will crash. And actually, to get this, really, you need to talk to people who have experience in that. And the most experienced people are those from Google, Amazon, eBay, Uber. They actually know how to scale these things. Lieferando or these kinds of people. Delivery Hero. And so in Kassel, you need to go to the Ticket Toaster people or to the Micromata people. They are running big websites. The Micromata people for DHL, for the German Postal Service, and the Ticket Toaster people, they are running music festivals and sell you tickets. And they know that there is a new concert for the Stones, my age, and the ticket is going to start at 12 o'clock. then in the first 5 seconds they will have 1 million customers, and they are able to deal with that. And they know what to do there, and they know how to organize your service and do all these scaling things we were talking about. So in order to learn how to do this as good as it is possible at the university, there is 2 more lectures coming up in the Master of Computer Science. So one is in the next term, the Web Engineering lectures or course. The Web Engineering course is actually run by or together with some people from Ticket Toaster. And they will do it in Ruby, yet another language, I think. And those guys really know how to do this scaling, and they will actually tell you how to. There you can actually learn that. So if you do not want your first website to crash when customers show up in numbers, then you should actually go for the Web Engineering lecture in addition to this Microservices lecture. And there is this DevOps course, which is also a master course at Kassel University, which is going to be run again, I have no idea, next winter. Sebastian, do you know? Or is model engineering before that? Next summer, so it's summer 22. Are we going to have it? Because summer 22, I'm going to, I might be in sabbatical. Yeah, so 1 or 2 years from now. And I really recommend those 2 courses to you to round up all these things that are still open. For the Web Engineering course this summer, we are thinking about to open this for Douala people. So if there are some people from Douala who are interested in that course, please give me a notice. If some 5 or more of you guys would be interested in this, we will try to open it. If it's only 1 or 2 people, we won't be able to have the extra effort. But I actually have to speak to Christoph if he is going to willing to do it in English. But it's probably still online, so we could do it. There's little things that speak against it. Okay, so Web Engineering might be open for Douala people if there is enough interest in that. And we'll try to find out whether there is interest within the next weeks. So, hey, only 15 minutes over time. I really have to apologize for taking always too much time. There's a lot of things that has been changed to last year, and I'm still fighting with actually Visual Studio Code because I usually use IntelliJ and some other stuff. And there was quite a number of things we did differently this year than last year. And most of this event sourcing stuff has been redesigned in comparison to last year. And so there was quite some effort in preparing these lectures. And because I'm not, so many things are still changing these days on the design frequently. I need more time to explain it to you, perhaps because it's not clear enough to myself. And I'm sorry for that. I will do a much better job next year. And so if you come and revisit the lecture next year, it will be much better. For the Douala people, next summer I'm going to have a sabbatical, and I actually plan to come over to your site, to go over to Douala and give this course as a block course at Douala University. Frank is sitting there. So I'm going to come over to your site next year to give this course again. If you're interested in the people who are passing this course, this year, I would love to have you as a teaching assistant next year. If you're still in Douala, please stay in contact, and then I'll have a sabbatical. I come over to Douala in spring next year. It might be March or something like that. And then I will try to repeat this course at your site. I think that traveling will be possible again next year, and that would be fine. I hope to see you guys. Okay, so thank you everybody. See you when you present your presentations, and see you in the courses coming up, and have a good day. Bye.